And now I'm joined by Steve and Annette Economides. They are the authors of the Money Smart Family System, teaching children financial independence, and it doesn't matter what age they are. Welcome back to Harvest.
Well, glad to be here.
Okay, so I have to tell you, you've been on the show from time to time, and every time you leave, I say, I should have asked them this. And so today I want to talk to you about expensive things like cars and going to work and getting a job. What is your philosophy about that with your own children? Well, let's start with employment.
Okay. Well, our kids all get their first part-time job, usually working retail, around the age of 16. And they've been on our Money Smart Kids system up until that point.
Sometimes they'll do babysitting jobs
or yard
work for neighbors and things like that. So they've earned money besides our Money Smart Kids system, but now it's time to get them into the employment world.
Our son was so cute. This is child number 4. When he got his first part-time job as a bagger at a grocery store, bag boy at a grocery store, he came home after one day and he said, Mom and Dad.
We took a picture of him with his first check.
Mom and Dad, you've been ripping me off, he said. He said, I earned enough in one day compared to what I would earn for months on our Money Smart Kids system.
Because at the time, he was earning about $10 a week. Okay, and in one day, at $8 an hour, he was like $60 or $70.
So we're like, okay, we'll take your fortune to the bank, we'll get it cashed, and we'll get you all squared away. It was really cute.
Really, remember, we're raising adults, we're not raising children. And so getting the first job is a milestone, and we want to prepare them to do that. So a lot of times, our kids have all been involved in community service, and they volunteered at different places, so that's something that goes on their resume. We help them write up a resume. We take them to the place where they're going to get a job or want to get a job. We usually try to make that within walking distance or at least close to home, because we don't want to be spending a lot of money on gas and time transporting them if we can get them working close to home. Take them to the place, let them meet the manager, let them see how people are dressed there, get them used to the environment so they know how to behave and what to expect.
We also do some mock interviews so that they know how to work that interview process. And we've talked to a lot of parents that have said, well, I think my child's job should be getting good grades. And what we say to that is, yes, your child should be wanting to have good grades, but nowhere in life as an adult do you get to just juggle one ball. Usually we have a basket with lots of balls, and no kid has ever died from working a 10 to 15 hour a week job and trying to get good grades.
Remember, it's real life, and real life is you have multiple responsibilities.
Okay, so I remember, I was talking with you guys the last time you were here, and I told you that I was kind of happy that I was able to accomplish 85% of what you talk about in your book, and I hadn't read your book. And I had that philosophy that my daughter's job was to go to school, but you're saying get them involved multitasking and getting multiple things done in their lives.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you think about a child as they're growing older, they have to be able to do many different things. That's just part of growing up and being responsible.
Well, this is another reason why we say allowances don't work. Because allowances, giving a child money just for being part of the family and not requiring them to do anything with that money except to spend it on themselves so they can enjoy it, is an entitlement system. And we know entitlements don't work with the government. Paying people for doing nothing produces nothing. And we realize that we need to give our kids money and then allow them to have responsibilities with that. Because when we get a paycheck, we can't just play with all that money. Some of it goes to the mortgage, some of it goes for car maintenance, food, clothes, and that's what we want. We don't want to burden our children, but we want to train them so that when they graduate, when they leave home, they're prepared.
And we've also had people say to us, kids should be doing chores and not getting paid. They should be just doing chores because they're part of the family. And we understand that philosophy, and we agree with that, except we would say, take a bigger picture. And we would say, how are you going to train them to be financially independent? So if you aren't getting money into their hands on a weekly basis, which our Money Smart Kids system and program does, how are you going to teach them about money? Okay,
so let's just change lanes, literally, from employment to transportation.
Yes.
Excellent.
Tell me about your eldest son. I think he...
Our eldest son, when he was 16, now we held our other kids off until they were 18 for driving. But, first child...
We learned with the first one.
We thought, oh, this is great. He wants to drive. We don't want to have to take him everywhere. So at 16, I was smart enough to realize he needs to pay for his own insurance. That's the first step in our graduated system for driving. And so I said, John, we're going to need to find out how much it's going to cost you to drive a car. Now, of course, every teenage boy dreams of driving a red Ferrari or something like that. Well, he wanted a Dodge Viper. So I took him to our insurance agent, and I said, Paul, would you explain to John what it's going to cost him for insurance? He said, well, if you drive your parents' car, it's going to cost you about $600 every 6 months, $100 a month. But John said, well, what if I drove a Dodge Viper? And Paul says, well, after you paid $80,000 for the car, it would cost you, and he punched things into his computer, he said, it will cost you $9,996 every 6 months to drive a Dodge Viper.
So?
Now, John, instantly after he got up off the floor, he said, okay, Dad, I'll drive your car. Now, that's great. He paid his insurance, and over time, he still wanted to drive his own car, so I helped him realize what it was going to cost. We looked at ads, and he started saving money for his own car.
Is that what you mean by a graduated?
That's right. So first you pay for the insurance, then he started paying for some of the gas he was using, and in the meantime, he's saving. He's working a part-time job. He's saving money for a car. It took him a few years to save. He saved $6,000, and we agreed that he could spend $5,000. Because when you buy a used car, you need to have some money in reserve. He bought a used car, kept it. He's bought 3 cars for cash.
Wow.
Then he decided he wanted to have car payments because he wanted a new car. And he came to us months later after he got the car payments, and he said, that was the dumbest decision I ever made.
He had a friend that just was talking to him, whispering in his ear, saying, you need to establish credit. And so he went and did this, and he regretted it.
But what about that? If you don't, you know, buy something on credit, you don't establish your credit. Some people get declined credit because they simply have no credit.
And we wrote about this in the book. And the way we've done it with our daughter, and John established credit, he paid 16% interest on a $20,000 car loan.
Crazy.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, wow, that's expensive. But that was a lesson he learned, and that's adult life, and that's good. Becky decided she wanted to establish credit, so she got a credit card. And she uses it to buy gas. She's had the credit card for 4 or 5 years, automatic payments. She's never overspent. Her credit score is over 800.
And she said it's a pain in the neck. I don't like it because she's got her budgeting system on paper, and the credit card just is not.
It's not easy.
It's not real friendly to work with the paper budgeting system and have
if she needs to borrow money, which she probably won't, this girl has paid for cash for 2 cars. The first one was $11,500. The second one was $14,000. She works part-time. She's paid cash for 2 cars. She doesn't need to borrow money. She knows how to save it.
Okay, I know I'm always picking your brain. This is really the last question that I'm going to ask you. You decided never to buy cars for your children.
Right.
Correct.
Why?
We don't want to steal an awesome opportunity from them. And that is anybody who can save that much money and accomplish a goal like that, no financial goal will ever be impossible. And it teaches them to wait, it teaches them to plan, it teaches them to deny impulsive items, and they succeed.
It also teaches them to value what they have. I mean, none of our kids went out recklessly driving and totaled their car, you know,
because they forked out the money
for it. Absolutely.
Well, I like that. Well, to connect with Steve and Annette Economides and to get a copy of the Money Smart Family System, you can go to americascheapestfamily.com. That is correct, americascheapestfamily.com, or you can go to harvest-tv.com and click on show info in the menu bar for an easy way to connect to their site and to get a copy of the Money Smart Family System. Harvest continues in a moment. Thank you.